This is my resto mod of a Humvee with a P pump 24 valve Cummins. I bought the truck. It had 4 soft doors that came with it, but the problem was they were all front passenger doors and they were kind of tore up. I didn't like the cost of the stock doors, and I wanted the doors to be with a removable top so I could have half doors and a full door. So this is what I made to send me down that road. Yeah, I'm going to start making the aluminum doors. One of the things I found is the door isn't particularly square. About an 1/8 inch different from the top to the bottom. Down here we got 33 5/8. Up here we got 33 1/2. It's like an 1/8 inch difference from the top to the bottom. So if I want to make the gaps look good, I'm going to have to make the door match the opening. I'm about to cut out my second door, and it's just 16 gauge aluminum. I got the marks on it from the other door I've made already. And make them equal. Cut it a little bigger with the cutting wheel, and then trim it off on my shear. I have a bench top shear. Show you that later. Here I'm cutting the 16 gauge just with a cutting wheel to get it approximate size, and then I'll use my shear, bench shear, to get it exactly where I need it. I made this cardboard template to match the door opening so I can mark it on the aluminum, have the curve pretty well set. Around this corner, I got the bench shear from Harbor Freight. Must have been 10 years ago. Works pretty well. That worked well. I'll check the size and use the belt sander there if I need to. Here I'm checking the size of the door, going over to the belt sander, sanding a little bit off, and checking it again. Once I get the size of the door where I need it to go, I've got some really long 1-inch tubing, square tubing. I'm going to rivet to the top, probably down in a wedge shape so I can get some structure, and maybe back up the corners with another sheet, another strip of aluminum, just to give it some rigidity. Here I'm just trying to fit the door, make sure it fits into the opening, and I'm also placing the hinges. I bent the hinges in a little bit so the door fits flush and not just on the outside of the Humvee. Changing out the top bolt on the door hinge holder and making a countersink so my door hinge can fit back in there a little further and hold the door exactly where I need it. Bottom one I'm going to leave the same because that's original and it's not any problem. Put that in there, won't have any problems with the door hinge hitting. And I've already sanded the edges of the doors several times to make them fit the opening. After I get done changing the top bolt here, I'm going to line up the hinges, mark the holes, and just mount the outside 16 gauge aluminum to the hinges just so I can set it in place. Then I'll mark the inside where the door opening is, and then attach some of the tubing and that sort of thing so I don't cause interference when the door shuts. Here I'm just using some cardboard as spacers to hold the door up a little bit so I can mark the holes for the hinges. Just using 1/4-inch bolts and lock nuts in order to attach the hinges to the door skin. I'm just loosening the hinge bolts so I can move the door around and align it. Now that I got the door to sit in there, I'm going to mark the inside where the door opening is so I can put some aluminum tube in there and not interfere with the door opening. Just using a magic marker to mark the inside. Here's my passenger door. I got it just the skin bolted on. Just had to bend the hinges a little bit to make them go in because this is just a 16 gauge. These hinges are made for armored doors, maybe. We're stuck out too far. I'm trying to make it at least so the wind blows by it, doesn't blow in. All I gotta do now is make the aluminum interior structure I did on the other one, and then put some latches on, and I think I'll be good to go. Here's the infrastructure for the inside of the door. Just got these temporarily screwed to the skin. I think I'm going to end up welding these a little bit just to add a little strengthening. I'm going to put this piece, have the hinges attached to that to add a little more strength. And then I'll have another piece on from the bottom that way, and then one up. And eventually I might put one in the middle and maybe put or maybe one up here somewhere, maybe put a piece of some thin piece of aluminum on the inside, make a little pocket for like a mat pocket, foam pocket. Yeah, I'm making the infrastructure, the inside of the door. There's the skin here. I'm just basically framing out the inside. Be careful because the door frame is tapered on the back side. I gotta match all that up. Just gonna make sure it's on the inside. I got the infrastructure done on the inside of my door. I'm gonna probably weld these joints. Pull that down close, weld the joints, just because I have a TIG welder and I can get it done. But if you don't have a TIG welder, you can always, I think it would be just as strong as you put a support on the inside like that and put a couple of rivets in it, and that would be just as strong as welding it, I believe. I just want to get it welded, smooth it out. Well, I welded the inside. It's good enough. I'm not a professional welder by any means, but stuck together. I'm more of a, less than a welder, I'm more of a grinder. So test fit it, put the latch on, and then put the spring-loaded latch here. Well, there's the infrastructure of my door in place. Fits well, I like it. Might need to trim it a little shorter. I gotta figure out a latch. I don't like the big handles that were on the soft doors. So I'll figure out something. I don't know if I like the square ones they have either. I might make something different. So here's the door latch made. Just made it out of a piece of angle iron. Cut it down a little bit. I'll paint it. And these the latches I bought that'll fit onto the door. These latches, eventually I'll maybe extend this other end, but these latches will latch right onto that and be good to go. Here I'm making the brace so I can attach the latch to the door. The brace will provide some spacing out and some strength to that end of the door. Here I'm using the same size rivets and the same rivet gun that I used to make the seats. Basically spacing the rivets out to make it look somewhat equal to the rest of the Humvee. I'm mounting the latch. I was using the same rivets, but I had to use the small rivet gun because the big one wouldn't fit on the flange that the latch has. I also needed to make a spacer so the latch stuck out a little bit further so it would hit that angle iron latch I can attach to the frame real well. This small rivet gun is really hard to pull on those big rivets. The big rivet gun made it so much easier. It's my homemade Humvee half door, just made out of 1x1 aluminum. I think that's 16 or 14 gauge aluminum that I got cheap. It's expensive any other way. Use the regular hinges. I'll paint it when the weather's warm enough. Then I'm going to make a top section that's removable. There, I'm making the outside door lever, and I'll basically attach it to this latch right here. That's on the inside. Drill a hole through the door, attach this to there, and then I can open it from the outside. There's the slotted hole. I'll put the outside knob in. You see down in the hole, there's the latch handle on the other side. Just slide that in there, bolt it to the other side, and be able to open the door. In theory. That's what it's going to look like when it's done. That way I don't have this big boxy toolbox handles. Here's a picture of what the door looks like after I've got it mocked up. I'll make another video to show you how we got there. Doors like these could be used for almost any military vehicle, an ATV, a dune buggy, or some custom car. So I'd like to keep these videos a little bit short, so I'll make another video showing how I made the top part of the door, and then what it looks like after I painted it as well. So look out for the next video.